back. You are watching BNC's live gavel-to-gavel coverage of justice for Ahmaud Arbery, the trial of 3 white men in Brunswick, Georgia, accused of chasing, cornering, and killing Arbery. To bring you up to date on what we have been witnessing during the cross-examination of Travis McMichael, the trigger man, it all boils down to this: a man who cannot understand why a black man in Georgia would not want to stop after being chased by 2 pickup trucks with men inside saying, "Stop, we just want to talk to you." Let's go now to BNC's Dray Clarke, who has been covering the trial in Brunswick. Dray, riveting testimony this morning. Lots of confusion now on the side of Travis McMichael as to what happened. Specifically, were you being threatened?
Yeah, we knew going into today's testimony that Travis McMichael would be under a tremendous amount of scrutiny, especially after he testified yesterday. He really left himself wide open. He told the jurors that because of his time in the Coast Guard, he was trained in weapons and hand-to-hand combat and de-escalation tactics, but the prosecutor is saying that he employed none of those things while in pursuit of Ahmaud Arbery. The one question we kept hearing throughout the morning so far is why? Why did you continue to pursue him after asking him 3 different times, I just want to talk to you, will you stop? And each time Ahmaud Arbery would run in the opposite direction. The prosecution is saying, listen, you're trained, you know what to do. Why did you continue to pursue him? Also, you knew he wasn't carrying a weapon. In fact, Ahmaud Arbery never said a word to Travis McMichael as he pulled alongside of him. And you can see this morning that Travis is having a really hard time making sense as to why he did what he did on that day in February 2020. Del?
Dray, she broke it down. She said, did you see a gun? No. Did you see a knife? No. And yet you continue to follow him. But this was the part that actually got my attention, which was when she asked, did you hear your father, who was in the back of the truck, yelling, "Stop or I'll blow your effing head off"? He says, I don't recall hearing anything. That's kind of the type of thing that if there is a heated moment going on, it might kind of ring a bell in your memory.
Well, also, remember, it goes to the question of mindset. Travis McMichael said yesterday on the stand that in his pickup truck that he wasn't speeding and that he calmly pulled up alongside Ahmaud Arbery and said, hey, what's going on? I want to talk to you. But we know, based on what Gregory McMichael told investigators, at one point he said, I am going to blow your expletive head off. And so prosecutors are going, there's no way this was a calm, cordial pursuit. You guys were hyped up, you were anxious, you were armed, and you were determined to have this young man stop on your command. And when he did not do that, you guys became more frustrated, and eventually it ended up with Ahmaud Arbery being shot 3 different times, or actually twice the bullets hit him with that 12-gauge shotgun. Because remember, Travis McMichael said that Ahmaud Arbery charged at him and grabbed his gun, and that's when he fired those shots. The prosecutors are saying basically you had every opportunity in the world to stop your pursuit and simply wait for the police to come and then direct them into the direction of where Ahmaud Arbery was running, but you chose not to do that.
Dray Clarke for us on the ground in Brunswick, Georgia. Dray, thank you. I want to go now to our legal analyst, Laura McNeal. Boy, do I have a lot of questions for you, Laura. Beginning with the fact that it always bears reminding our audience that this is a young man who was simply out jogging. If he wasn't jogging, he was a looky-loo. He was a trespasser who wound up being dead because of 3 people who took justice into their own hands. But that being said, this is the point in the trial where race screams loudly. How would a prosecutor ask the question, if this was a white guy, would you have been as aggressive to the point where you chased him down with a pickup truck and wound up shooting and killing him?
She could literally say exactly what you just said, Dale. But the chance that she is taking if she does that, you have to keep in mind there are 11 white jury members, and she doesn't want to run the risk of looking like she's attacking the witness, that she's calling the witness a racist, to be quite frank. She's got to consider the setting. She's in rural Georgia, small town in Georgia, again, all white jurors, and so she's trying to walk a fine line when the reality is it's so obviously the big pink elephant, as we say in the room. She really just needs to address it head on, and where I would have liked to have seen her do that is when she talked about the fact that Travis McMichael was aware of other people in that home under construction, the white couple, the guy that he described as the shady guy under the bridge. I would have asked him directly, why did you not assume, as you did with Ahmaud Arbery, that those individuals were involved in criminal activity as well? Perhaps they've been back to that location and just simply weren't caught on video. And so I would have asked him that direct question and see how he reacts. Let the jury see how he reacts, because now we have a credibility issue. He says he didn't hear his dad say, stop or I'm going to blow your expletive face off or your head off, yet Greg McMichael himself admitted that he said that. So it really is not going to sit well with the jurors, because that's something he should have just admitted. It's the truth, and they need to know that he's giving the truthful account of what happened that day.
Laura, you hit the nail right on the head as far as I was concerned, which is that there are two narratives that are emerging from this testimony of Travis McMichael, the man who pulled the trigger, which is one, I calmly pulled up to him in the truck and I said, what are you doing? Hey, dude, what are you doing? Stop. And then I pulled up to him again and said, hey, dude, what are you doing? Stop. And then I circled back and said one more time calmly. But at the same time, his father was in the back of the truck, I guess, who was just as calm, saying, stop, I'll blow your effing head off. Or words to that effect, or he's saying, stop, go around, turn around, get him. Clearly, their stories are not jiving right now, to use the street term. Is she making an effective cross in this area with regards to the two McMichaels?
She is. The story is not jiving, and if I need her also to go back to that 911 call, because one thing the defense said when they were doing their direct is, wow, you're breathing really hard, and you could hear him in the 911 call. He was excited, he was outraged, he was revved up, as we say. So it's hard for me to believe that you just calmly pulled up alongside Ahmaud Arbery, who you say potentially before, when you saw him, tried to pretend like he had a weapon on him, and you just calmly said, hey man, what's going on? You know, what are you doing in the neighborhood? I just want to talk to you. That's not how that went down. Common sense would tell you that's not how it went down. But here's the clincher, Del. The law requires him to establish, the jury's going to say what a reasonable person had done the same thing in similar or same circumstances. And here's where it's so important to have a diverse jury. Would a reasonable white man have done the same thing from the South? Perhaps. But would a reasonable black man have done it? So you see what I mean? Like, perception matters. Life experiences matter. My perception running through a neighborhood as a black woman and two white men are following me, well, guess what? I'm not going to stop and talk to you. I'm going to run for my life as well. But would my white friend have the same response? Probably not, because she doesn't have my lived experiences. And that's what this trial is really putting front and center. This is why we need diverse jury pools. This is the only way that we can really have a fair and equitable justice system. You have to have representation on that jury, and we don't have it right now, and I'm very concerned about the outcome.